Maven is a software management and comprehension tool based upon the concept of POM or Project Object Model, which can manage project builds, reporting, and documentation from a central piece of information. Now, if you look at it, all build systems are essentially the same. That means they perform the same steps for making or building a project. These steps are compiling the source code, copying the resources, compiling and running the tests, and then packaging your project, and then deploying your project, and then clean up, right? Now, people or developers of Maven wanted a standard way to build the project. They wanted a clean definition of what the project consists of and an easy way to publish project information and a way to share jar across several projects. So that essentially means that they wanted an easy way to build your project and share your project with the colleagues or with the clients or anybody else, right? As a result, they come up with a tool which is called Maven, which is for building and managing any Java project, right? Now, Maven is intended to make the day-to-day work of Java developer easier and generally help with the comprehension of any Java-based project. Now, as I already said, Maven uses the concept of POM. Now, what is POM? Now, POM is a fundamental unit of work in Maven, you can say. A POM is an XML file that contains information about the project and configuration detail used by Maven to build the project. So it's like a XML file which contains some information. And what can be this information? This information describes a project in all, and this information contains the name, version, artifact type, source code limitations, or dependencies of a project. It also retains the plugin information and profiles. Now, as I already said, it uses XML by default, but not in a way Ant uses XML. As you know, Ant is also a build management system. Now let's see what are the important objectives of Maven. Now the first objective of Maven is to make the build process easy and to provide a uniform build system, providing a quality project information, providing guidelines of best practices development, and allowing the transparent migration to new features. And all these objectives and benefits of Maven we will see from the next video, when we will see how we can create our first Maven project. In this video, we will see how we can download and install and set up Maven on our Windows operating system. Now, before installing Maven, you need to make sure that Java JDK is installed on your Windows operating system and Java home variable is already added to your environment variable. So to check this, just open your search box and just search for system here and open the system from here. And in here, open advanced system settings. And in the advanced system setting, you need to press this button which says environment variables. And in here, you need to make sure that this Java_home is set up in your user variables, and the path of this Java home should indicate the path of JDK folder in your Windows operating system. So for example, when I copy this path and I open my folder explorer or file explorer and paste this path, it should open the JDK folder here, right? And if you're not sure how you can do this or how you can install Java JDK and set up Java environment variables, then I will paste the link of the video in the description, which shows exactly how and what to do in order to install Java JDK and set up this Java home environment variable. You also need to make sure that in the path variable, this is indicating this Java JDK bin folder. So this bin folder must be added to your system variables. In system variables, search for path, and when you double click on it, at the end, or you need to search for this path, which is C program file Java, your JDK folder name, and then bin. Okay, and if it's not there, you need to add it at the end of it using semicolon. Okay, once everything is done and you are sure that these environment variables are set up on your system, then we are ready to install Maven on our system. So open your favorite browser and search for download Maven, and the first link which will appear here will be from maven.apache.org/download. So just click this link, and in here you can see different links here. And if you reach to the home page, if you land to the home page, then you can just click this download button here, and you will reach to this place, right? Now, in order to download Maven, you have different options listed here, but what we are interested in is this option which says Apache minus Maven minus the version of the Maven, which is 3.3.9 at the time of making this video, -bin.zip file. So we need to download this zip file in order to install Maven. So just choose the second option and save it at your desired location. Okay. Now, once your download is complete, go to the location where the zip file is located, and thus just open this zip file and extract it to your desired location. In my case, I'm going to extract it to my C directory. Okay, so just choose this and extract it. Once the extraction is done, we can browse to our Apache Maven folder in the C directory, and we can see there are some folders here. The one folder we are interested in is this bin folder, in which our Maven executable files are there. So next step is to open your system once again. So just search for system and open it. And once again, go to advanced system settings. And once again, go to environment variables. Now in here, what we need to do is we need to go to user variables, and we need to create a new user variable. So just click this new button here. And the new user variable name would be m2_home in capital. Okay. And the value of it will be your Apache folder. So this is the value. In my case, it's C directory, and in my C directory, I have this Apache Maven folder, right? Don't go up to bin folder, but just go at the top level of this Apache folder, which is Apache folder itself. Okay, so copy this path and then paste it here, and then click OK. Now, some project still uses some other name for this M2 home, which is Maven home. So it's useful to create one more user variable, which is Maven home. So just write Maven home_home. Okay. So because some of the program still references Maven folder with this name, it's not harmful to create this environment variable, and the value of it will be the same, C:/Apache Maven and the version of your Maven folder. Okay, click OK, and once this is done, the last step is to just go inside your bin directory here and then copy this path up to bin inside the Apache folder. And once again, go to your environment variables, and in the environment variables, just search for the variable called path and just open it, and then append this path at the end of this line. So I'm going to just give this semicolon and then paste this path to my path variable, and then click OK, and then click OK, and then click OK. Now Maven is installed in our system. So in order to check it, what we can do? In order to check that Maven is installed in our system, we can open our command prompt. So just right click on your start button and then open the command prompt from here. And then here just give mvn minus version here and then press enter. And it's going to give you the version of Maven installed on your system, and it's also going to show you the Java version, and it's going to show you the Java home directory also. So we can create our first Java project using Maven. For example, I have created a directory in which I want to create my first Java project using Maven. So if you don't have this directory, you can create it and then just copy the path of this directory and then open your command prompt. If you don't know how to do this, you can right click on your Windows 8 start menu button and then click command prompt. And then just write cd, which will change the directory for you, and then paste the path you have copied and then press enter. Now to create a Maven project, what you need to do is you can give this type of command, which is mvn, then just write archetype and then colon generate. And what does this command do? This Maven archetype generate command is used to generate project from an existing template. Now, normally what happens is if you are a developer and if you are not using Maven, then you need to make the project structure by yourself. And this in itself is very tedious task if you want to be a perfect, if you want to make a perfect directory structure for your project. And if you are a new Java developer, then you may do mistakes while creating this directory structures. And this command will help you to create a perfect directory structure for you. Now, there are several archetypes defined by many developers and project groups on the Maven repository online. And when you give this command, what it's going to do. So let's press enter and let's see what happens. But before giving this command, make sure that you are connected to internet, because it's going to download some plugins from internet. So just press enter, and once you press enter, it's going to download those plugins. So you can see it's scanning for projects, and then it's started downloading some files from here. Now what it's downloading? These downloads files are something which are called Maven archetype plugin, which are required whenever you are going to create your first Maven project. And whenever you give this Maven archetype generate command, it's going to search for these plugins in your computer first at a specified location, and if it's not found, or if these plugins are not found, then Maven is going to download these plugins and then put it in that directory for you. And this is going to be done for the first time. Maybe from the next time, if you already have these plugins, Maven will not download these plugins for you. Now, after downloading all the plugins, Maven will give you these options. And you can see these numbers here, 15,060. And when you scroll up, you can see lots of numbers and some text is written in front of them. These are all the archetypes, right? So these are all the archetypes from which you can choose from. And by default, Maven will choose a Maven archetype quick start archetype, which is basically to create a Maven Hello World project with source and test classes. And you can see the number of this archetype. This number can be different in your case because these archetype number changes, with time. So in your case, if you are using this Maven archetype generate command, this default number can be different in your case. Okay. Now, if you want to create this sample project, you can here press enter instead of writing any number, and it's going to create a sample project for you. Otherwise, you can choose a number from this list of archetypes. This list of archetypes will give you all kind of project templates here. For example, you want to choose some kind of RESTful Spring project, then you can choose this number, which is 1556, for example. Or you can browse through this list and choose the project or kind of project you want to make. So right now we want to make a default project, so you can just write which is this number I'm typing here, or otherwise you can press enter directly without writing any number here. So let's press enter to create a sample project, and now it's going to give you these options. Now what are these options? So since archetypes are the template and they intend to reflect the current best practice, they can evolve in time. Thus, they have their own versions. Maven will ask you which version of archetype you want to use. So you can see different type of versions listed here. We are going to choose the last option, which is the latest version. But if you want to choose the previous versions, you can freely do this. So I'm going to just type 6 here, which is reflecting 1.1 version, and I'm going to press enter. Now in the next step, we will be asked to provide the group ID. Now why this group ID is asked? Now every Maven project have its group ID, artifact ID and version. And Maven will ask you to provide these IDs in 3 steps. First, it will ask you to provide group ID, then it will ask you to provide artifact ID, and then it will ask you to provide the version. And this group ID is generally unique amongst an organization or a project. Now, for example, your organization is, for example, CodeBind. You are working for an organization called CodeBind, and the website for this, organization is codebind.com. So the convention is to give the website of this organization in reverse order. For example, your organization website is codebind.com, so you can provide here com.codebind. Okay, and this can be your unique group ID. Okay, and now we are going to press enter, and now we are asked with this artifact ID. Now what is this artifact ID? The artifact ID is generally the name that the project is known by. So you can give the name of your project, for example, my first Maven project or my Maven project. Now let's press enter, and now it's asking us for the version, and it has given us this small hint here, which is 1.0 minus snapshot. We are going to give the exact same version name which it has given us. So just write 1.0 minus or hyphen snapshot. So why this is called something like 1.0 hyphen snapshot? So whenever you see a project with a version something like this, which has this keyword called snapshot, then it's in the development, version, right? So it's not a release version, but it's a development version. So this snapshot keyword indicate that it's a snapshot version. Now, whenever you build your project, you can generate a jar file or a var file for your project, and the jar or var file name will be this name, which is artifact ID dot your version name. So artifact ID is my Maven project dot 1.0 minus snapshot, and then the extension, for example, dot jar. So press enter, and now it's going to ask you for the package, and it's giving us this hint also. So we will follow the hint. We will just give com dot code bind, but we are going to generate our code inside this demo folder, right? So whenever Maven is going to create the sample project, this will be created in this folder structure com.codebind.demo, and inside this folder is going to create your class directory and your test directory. Okay, so just provide this and then press enter, and once you press enter, Maven will ask you to confirm your choices for the group ID, artifact ID, version, and package name. And if you agree with these values, you can just give Y and then press enter, and then Maven is going to create your folder structure for you. And you can see build success. It means your folder is created, or your Maven project is created. So you can browse to the directory in which you want to create your project, and you can see your project name, my Maven project, which we have given here. You can see my Maven project, right? And inside this my Maven project, you can find this source directory and this pom.xml. This introduction of pom.xml I have given you in the first video, but we will see this in detail in the next video. And let's go inside our source folder. And inside this source folder, we have our main directory. And inside the main directory, we have this Java directory, and then com, then codebind, and then demo. And then we have this sample Java class for us, right? Once again, we will go to the source directory, and this time we will go to the test directory. It also has Java, com, codebind, demo, and then your sample test class.